Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Closet. My name is Kevin and tonight we're going to do something very different than we normally do. Instead of a whiskey tasting, we're going to do a whiskey glass tasting. I have in front of me two different kinds of glassware. The first is the classic Glencairn sipping glass. Very interesting sort of fluted shape. It's rather tall compared to the basin. The other glass here is the Norlan Whiskey glass. The Norlan glass is very similar, but it has a few differences. First of all, it's double walled. Secondly, the shape is a little bit different. It has a similar fluted effect, but it widens a lot more at the top. The third thing that makes the Norco different is that it has these little ridges in the bottom of the glass. Norco says that there are special protrusion forms that create wave-like movements when you swirl the liquid. And the intention of this is for that to release the ethanol, allowing the scents in the glass to be more present when nosing, and in turn, improving the flavor. That's their theory. These were a gift that I got a long time ago, and I actually really enjoy them. They feel really nice in the hand, double-walled. You know, a Glencairn is so awkward to drink out. Do you hold it up here? Do you hold it from the base? It's just a little awkward. So these are really nice feeling. They do have kind of a thick rim on them. A lot of people have compared them to a sippy cup, which I get. But I don't care about any of that. What I want to know is, can I pick up any differences in what I'm smelling and what I'm tasting between the two glasses? The way I want to go about testing this is with two separate whiskeys. First, I want a high proof whiskey so I can see if some of that swirling and releasing of the ethanol makes a difference. And then secondly, I want a lower proof whiskey so I can see the same thing. So I spent a lot of time going through the closet trying to select what whiskey I would use here. For the high proof whiskey, I considered the rare breed. I considered the Knob Creek 9-year. I considered the Maker's Mark, but I chose against that. Bunch of other things I considered. What I actually chose is the Penelope Barrel Strength Toasted Series. This is 116 proof. And one of the reasons why I chose it is because there's a lot of different flavors that happen in the Penelope. It's a very complex bourbon. For the low proof, I went through and considered quite a few different things. I didn't want anything finished. I didn't want anything young. So what I decided to go with is a Dickel bourbon, aged 8-year. This is a 45% alcohol by volume bourbon. It's pretty nice, all things considered. It's got those 8 years of age on it, which makes it very complex, relatively speaking, for such a low proof. So I thought it might have a chance to sort of stand up to this test. So let me get these poured and we'll get into this. Let's start with the low proof and then move to the high proof. I'm gonna start with the Glencairn. Very nice. You get a lot of barrel, nice caramel kind of richness, a little bit of a candy kind of note. For 45% alcohol, it really is surprisingly rich and complicated. That's a nose that I can say I really do like. So much more barrel than it has any business. I mean, it's 8 years. But wow, it really comes with a lot of barrel spice. And a lot of, like a honeyed black tea note up front. I'm finding a lot of rye spice in this tonight too. Let's try it out of the Norlan glass. Put those protrusions to work, get those waves happening, release some ethanol. You do get a very satisfying sound when you swirl these glasses. Okay, so there's a huge difference. I'm just getting like just a hint, and mostly of the rye spice and kind of nothing else. All right, I gotta get my nose in there to really pull stuff out of this. I mean, so this is only 45%, but even at 45%, when you put your nose in the Glencairn, those vapors hit. But with those vapors is a lot more intensity of flavors, smells. I'm getting very little. Mostly just little touches of those rye spice notes. The caramel sweetness is just a little more subdued. I feel like it's less barrel and more rye spices. Feels good to hold though. Try out the Glencairn again. So much more intense on the nose. Wow, that is bizarre. They really seem different. I gotta say, at least for the George Dickel, I prefer it out of the Glencairn. All right, let's move up to high proof. Holy smokes, the contrast between the Dickel and the Penelope. I'm getting clove, major, big time, strong clove. Clove like you wouldn't believe. Almost a little smokiness too. It's just super deep, dark, rich, such intensity. The proof isn't grabbing me. I was hoping actually that 116, which isn't insanely high, but I was hoping that would be high enough that I'd get a lot of ethanol out of the Glen, and it's not burning my nostrils. Golly, that's a special bourbon. I reviewed the 3 Penelopes not that long ago. I'll link the video up here if you want to go check it out. This one was my favorite until it wasn't, but it's a very special bourbon. Now that I've tasted it, that clove that was jumping out of the glass isn't as prominent on the nose, sort of reset my palate around what's in here. It's still there though. You get a lot of proof. It burns across the tongue. It has a lot of barrel on the finish and a beautiful drying impact. You get some of those toasted barrel notes are pretty prominent tonight. There's kind of a young corn note all the way through, but that note is wrapped in so much else that it's just so pleasant. Some of those balsa wood tones, maybe some like a little bit of like a berry sweetness mixed in there too. Try it in the Norlan. Once again, put the protrusions to work, get the waves going. Let's see if we can evaporate some ethanol. Again, unreal how little I'm getting on the nose. Maybe I set myself around the intensity out of the Glen that these seem empty by contrast. Okay, there is a difference. The Norlan is so much tamped down that I think I am picking up a couple of things that I didn't get as strongly out of the Glen. There's more of like more of a sweetness coming out. Oh, it's beautiful. Wow, I can't believe. It is a little bit of a matter of getting used to it, maybe sort of resetting expectations on going into the glass. Oh, because now the nose of this is, oh, it's so good in a way that I was not. I mean, I was into it, right? In the Glen, it was good, but oh, you're smelling it out of the Norlan. It's that dusty corn sweetness. There's some barrel. There's a rich note too, not caramel, but some kind of richness. And the way that it finishes with this barrel spice dryness is so nice. I think it was better in the Norlan. I feel like I'm getting everything, all the same notes. I just feel like they're almost spaced out more to where you can enjoy them more. I don't know if that's quite right, but it doesn't feel like they're muted or absent like I kind of was thinking with the Dickel. Here, it just feels more approachable somehow. And I'm getting more of a beautiful black teed, round, soft, honeyed mouthfeel. And that is just enveloping everything. Ooh, it's very, very interesting. These do not smell the same. The Glen smells more pencil shavings-esque, whereas the Norlan smells more honeyed and more soft corn. And the alcohol's jumping. You get the burn on the nose out of the Glen that you do not at all get out of the Norlan. I think if I tried to do these blind, I would think they were different bourbons. The notes are the same, but the experience is different. It's just so much more intense, more spiky out of the Glen. It's faster. It just seems sweeter in the Norlan, and it seems more aggressive in the Glen. For the Penelope, I'm picking the Norlan. I prefer it in the Norlan. The experience of drinking it, though, was more pleasurable pleasurable out of the Norlan glass in the case of the high proof, to where if I'm not doing this on camera standing in a closet, if I'm just trying to enjoy maximum enjoyment a high proof bourbon, I think I might be reaching for the Norlan. Also, I really love holding this glass. Well, there you go. We're split. I definitely think that I found a difference between these glasses. And I think in the high proof one, maybe the Norlan is working as advertised, getting some of that ethanol out and allowing you to appreciate more of the flavors in the glass, a softer, more lovely, more relaxed drinking experience, one might say, but not relaxed as in boring or removing anything. Very interesting. However, in the low proof bourbon, the opposite. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.